Brian Parrott. Tennis. Was the number 2 player on the Seattle University tennis team of the late 1960s behind current SU Hall of Famer Tom Gorman before moving into number 1 position. He won nearly 80% of his matches, earning a ranking as high as number 6 in 1969, winning the Wenatchee Valley singles title in 1968. He also teamed with Steve Hops in 1968 in the National Amateur Doubles Tournament. He competed in 2 NCAA Division I tournaments during his time at Seattle University. An economics major, Parrott was also minored in journalism, political science, and philosophy. Is that enough? Let's see, economics, journalism, political science, and philosophy. Okay, I got it. And was a sports editor at the Spectator. Do you have enough to do while you're here there, Brian? Spectator, the SU student newspaper. He has organized numerous sporting events over the past 25 years, including 4 U.S. Davis Cup tennis events, the 1992 Tournament of the Americas that served as the men's basketball qualifying tournament for the Barcelona Olympics, and featured the first games of the original Dream Team in Atlanta's ATP Tour stop. Please welcome Brian Parrott.
Bill, thank you very much. The reason I was so busy, I can say right off, is I looked like I was about 14, so dating was out of the question. There was nobody in Bellarmine Hall that would have been interested in me, so I studied the entire time, pretty much. And so, but I want to say what a thrill it is to be here. I'm so grateful to the selection committee, and everybody involved that has put it on, John Doherty and Bill. And just want to confirm that Seattle U is on the right track, getting back into Division I, because the reputation of the school is incredible as an academic institution. It was, and it's even more now. But the athletics, as we've seen in other schools, can raise the profile in a very fun way. And I just want to say to Father Sundberg, I want to help in every way I can to wherever you're sitting here for the mission in the next 10 years, because it's exciting. My family is from New York, and I'm so proud to be standing here. I'm the second Parrott to be put in a Hall of Fame. Eddie and Johnny knew my father, and so did Steve and Patty and Warren and others that are in the audience. But Harold Parrott was the traveling secretary for the Brooklyn Dodgers. So we were New York born. My brothers went to Brooklyn Prep. So we were Jesuits all the way, and that's how I wind up being interested in Seattle U. But they went to then Holy Cross. And then we moved to California with the Dodgers, and Dad was at that point the ticket manager. He was then, just to finish the thought, he was put into the Brooklyn Dodger Hall of Fame in 1995 posthumously, and it was a very proud day to be standing there with my 3 brothers, that he was put in. So this means a lot to me, certainly, but also the family. But I wanted to make the Jesuit connection, how I came to be interested in Seattle U. Well, my brothers, when going to Brooklyn Prep, used to go to Madison Square Garden, and they saw these 2 brothers, the O'Brien twins. And when we moved to California, and then I had some success in junior tennis, and then there was a possibility Seattle U. Todd and Lynn said, these guys were incredible, the O'Brien twins. I remember that, they were telling me about the night one of them got bloodied up, but they fought and they won. And so the spirit of the school is something that goes on through years and years and years. Now, I went to the Loyola High School in Los Angeles, which is the equivalent of Seattle Prep, because I wanted to go to a tough high school. I graduated from Our Lady of Malibu when we moved from Brooklyn to Malibu, which was quite a culture shock. But then, so I wanted to go to the toughest high school in Los Angeles was Loyola, and I got in spite of Sister Cora saying, you'll never get into Loyola, and if you did, you'll never stay. But Sister Cora, I'm going to say, I'm proud about tonight. But I went to Loyola and saw a tennis player there named Mike Howard, who was quite good, and was inspired by his play. Well, Howard was number 7 in Southern California to Stan Smith was number 2 in Southern California. So there was a lot of talent there. And I wanted to be a shortstop. I mean, I was Pee Wee Reese. I used to sing for him, but then Luis Aparicio was my hero. And, like, we moved to California, and Dad said, take these tennis lessons. I said, Dad, what's this? I'm not interested in this at all, you know. Like, I'm going to be a shortstop. But thanks to Dad's persistence, I took the lessons and got into it. And then there's always women involved, you know. The girl that I took to the senior prom, Chris Stewart, who was a very good player from Santa Barbara, came back from the summer circuit in the Pacific Northwest and told me about how cool it was in the Pacific Northwest. But also she met these two great guys, Steve Hops and Tom Gorman. You know, so that was the first time I'd heard the names, and it's sort of like, and Tom was the #1 junior, and so when Walter O'Malley pulled a trap door on my dad after 21 years at the Dodgers, and that's a story that I told Eddie a little bit about tonight. It's an interesting thing. But anyway, the situation was he didn't have enough money at the time. I was one up looking for scholarship situations, and I wrote, my mom wanted everybody to go to Catholic colleges, and then I had this success in Southern California, and some of the non-Catholic schools were calling, and they said, if you want to pursue your tennis, you don't have to go to Catholic college. But I thought, well, if I could find a Catholic college with a decent tennis program, then everybody'd be happy. And the reason I'm at Seattle U is because of my mother, because I wanted to please her going to Catholic school, and it was because of these two guys, Tom Gorman and Steve Hops. I got the letter, actually. This will tell you. Remember I told you I looked pretty young? And that was in college. But when I was 17, I got the scholarship through the mail. Cliff Hedger was the letter. It's full tuition, books, and fees for 4 years. My grandmother said, you got a letter from Seattle University. I was elated. You know, I saw the symbol. None of us had ever been to the Pacific Northwest. So Dad said, why don't you go up and take a look at the school? So I went. I called Mr. Cliff Hedger, and I said, I'd like to come up and take a look. Now, the tallest building in Seattle was the Smith Tower. Flew in. It was a gorgeous day like today. And I took a cab in to the Washington Athletic Club where the sports banquet was. And actually, Elgin Baylor was the speaker. And I was sitting in the lobby, and all the athletes started coming in. And this guy comes up to me, and he looked a little like Santa Claus. It was Coach Hedger. And he says, is your name Parrott? And I said, yes, it is. He said, did you come up with your brother? Where's Brian? And I go, well, actually, I'm Brian, you know, because he thought, you know, because I looked like I was 14. So anyway, I sat with the tennis team, met Tom, Steve, and then it was incredible. And I said, this is the place I want to go. I'm so proud to be, you know, being inducted in tonight. Lifelong friendships. It's 43 years ago. I would like to recognize a couple people. Now, we did have quite a team in '68, and I know there's something coming. But I would like to recognize a couple people, one in particular that had a lot to do with Tom Gorman's success. And I'm going to ask him to stand up over there. He's a University of Washington Hall of Famer, and his name is Righty Eden. Hey, Righty, can you stand up? Righty is over there. And he and Mr. Hubrinks are Hall of Famers. Righty is 87. He and his brother Lefty were at Iwo Jima when they put the flag up. And but the University of Washington men that are here, and I'm sure the ripple effect is true, that when they find out Seattle U is getting back into Division I, they're going to be nervous, because there's a word we learned in Loyola, and it's commitment. And there's something about a Jesuit. I have to also say thank you to St. Ignatius Loyola for the commitment of the Jesuits. 13 years to be a Jesuit, the commitment to education. It is such an institution for 400 or 500 years, and was such a fantastic thing to be part of. And it's going to be it's going to be fun what's going to happen in the future, but there's a teamwork out there. I've spoken enough, but I really am very grateful to everybody that was involved in this, and I'm proud to be Chieftain now Red Hawk. Thank you very much.